I often lie awake at night trying to figure out the best way to inspire everyone to declutter and simplify and to pursue minimalism. And I wish I were joking, but I'm not. But I feel like it's so important. And I read the comments that say, oh, I have a full room of stuff and I don't know where to start, or I know that I need to declutter, but I don't have the motivation, or just the different things that hang us up. And I read the comments and I'm like, I want to help you so badly. And I'm like, if I could just figure out the right way to say it so that it clicks, then we'll be on the right track and you'll be able to declutter. And what further complicates it is that many of you say different things click with you. For some, this idea of inventory clicks. For others, it's the vacation home model. For others, it's literally just doing 15 minutes a day in and day out, and never giving up. And so today I'm gonna take a stab. I've got a different idea that I think is profound. And so I'm excited to share it with you. And I think if other things haven't clicked, if they haven't been the trick to getting you motivated, I really think this one is for you. So you've probably heard of the 80-20 rule. It's called Pareto's principle. It's based after an Italian economist named Pareto. And he found that in Italy at the time, that 80% of the wealth of Italy belonged to just 20% of the population. Well, I take that back. He actually first noticed it in his garden with his peas, that 80% of the best, most viable pea pods were on 20% of the plants. And then he began to look further and saw that this applied to the Italian economy as well. And you've probably heard it in regards to time management. It's in a lot of business strategies that if you can focus on the most important 20%. And what's interesting is that as others have studied this now, they went on to find that this applies to so many other things. So check these out too. 20% of criminals commit 80% of crimes. 20% of drivers cause 80% of all traffic accidents. 20% of a company's products represent 80% of sales. 20% of employees are responsible for 80% of the work, and 20% of students have grades 80% or higher. And so it's very commonly used in time management and business things, right? To teach you to be more effective and more efficient. In fact, Tim Harris, author of The 4-Hour Workweek, even took this so far as to say that if you could really, I mean really dial in on those 20% of activities that make all the difference, that you could reduce your work week from 40 plus hours a week down to 4. And I mean, he's serious about that. And so it's actually a very powerful principle. So what if we now apply this to our home and to decluttering? I think it's very safe to say that we use 20% of the stuff in our house all of the time. More than 80% of the time. And in fact, when I've actually looked at this closer, I read a study. One study said that the average American only uses 6% of the stuff in their house because our inventory has gotten so high. We only use 6% of our stuff on a regular basis. And I know this doesn't surprise any of you, right? We all know this. We wear the same clothes, we use the same kitchen products, the same toothpaste day in and day out. So how can we use this then to motivate us? So I do want to talk about that, but I did joke that I lose sleep over this at night. And I do. Many nights I fall asleep thinking about ways that we could help inspire you to declutter. But the good news is that because we have a Helix mattress, I usually fall asleep fairly quickly, right? But a good night's sleep is so important because as we're thinking about these ideas, especially ideas that require critical thought, you have to have a good night's sleep. If we are not getting a good night's sleep, it's very difficult to be logical and to make good decluttering decisions because we are just going to second guess ourselves all day long. So we want to tell you a little bit about our Helix mattress and our preferred sleep positions, and then I want to come back and tell you how we can absolutely use this principle to get some serious decluttering done. So we have had our Helix mattress for exactly a year now, and we were pursuing a mattress because Tom would always wake up with back pain. And then it got to the point where I was waking up with back pain. And once you start getting a good night's sleep again, you're just like, why didn't we do this sooner? And so we're so grateful to Helix for sponsoring today's video, and we love how easy they make it to get the right mattress for you. So you go online and you take their sleep quiz, and it asks you, what position do you normally sleep in?
Ooh, should we demonstrate?
So, should we?
Let's demonstrate.
Okay, so, okay.
So let's start. No, you can't do anything.
I don't know how this is gonna go.
How about you lay down how we start our evening,
That's
our
what
bed.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
Well, how we start.
I start out one way, and then I have a very specific sequence to how I fall asleep. Are you ready?
You go.
Okay. I gotta get it just right. I have to have this knee up.
Yep, and no matter what, so we've switched sides on our beds over the years, and this knee always points in the middle.
It does not.
It always points in the middle, absolutely.
It's always my left knee.
That's not correct.
And then Tom will get a little close, and then I'm like, will you
Then
scoot
the knee
over?
comes up higher.
It does not. And then I'm like, will you scoot over a little more?
And then I'm like right here, and she's like, stop pulling the blankets.
And then from here, then I go to this side.
But
And this is how I sleep most of the night.
No, go true though. Scoot over to where you actually sleep. And then I'm allowed to sleep right here. And then, hold up. It gets better because we have a Helix match. Dawn sleeps so well that in the mornings, I slowly roll over. Dawn is an individual. If you touch her while she's sleeping, she will wake up. So then I roll over, and then she wakes up. And then I usually get met with angry morning Dawn.
That's not true.
But thank you to Helix, because Dawn gets such good quality sleep that I can get close enough to her to wake her up in the morning.
This has been exaggerated, just so you know.
Not a bit.
So, but you're mostly a side sleeper.
Yeah.
So am I. Yeah. So that's what we put in for our sleep quiz.
Opposite direction.
Yeah. We're like, okay, Helix, what do you got for opposite side sleepers? And then you also put in your preference for like how firm or how soft. So we were matched with the Dusk Luxe, which is a little bit firmer. It's delivered right to your door. Delivery is included in the price, and it's super easy to set up. And after that, you just get to have good night's sleep. And if anything wouldn't be perfect with it, they have a 100-night sleep guarantee. So they'll 100%
What
money
Dawn
back.
was meaning to say is Helix mattresses are a premium mattress in a box company.
Thank you, Helix. If you visit the link down below, you'll get up to $200 off of your mattress, plus 2 free pillows. And so we have the link in the description as well as in the top comment.
And guys, if you're as lucky as I am, your wife will get enough sleep that you can get close to her.
You're really making me sound bad.
I'm not. This is me talking to my people.
All right, so what he said, I guess. Okay, so we get a good night's sleep, we're feeling well rested. How do we use this 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle, to get some serious decluttering done? So here's one of the things that they propose. They say when you're trying to decide what's the most important 20%, because you hear these things and you're like, okay, I get it, right? But how do I figure out what the 20% is? And so they say, write down your goals. What are your goals? Whether it's with your personal life or your business, write down your goals and then use that to trace back to activities that support those goals. So I know you're like, oh, now we're getting into like goal setting and setting like SMART goals and all that, right? No, that's not what I want to, that's not at all where I want to go with this. Okay, so I think for most of us, we have goals of being a good parent, being a good wife, being a good friend. If our faith practice is important to us, we want to do that well. A lot of us want to cook more at home, cook healthier. We know we should be healthier. We want to be organized. We want our house that if somebody stopped by, we wouldn't feel embarrassed. Maybe some of us would even love to be able to have people over more, but we don't. And so if you start listing out all of these goals, then you say, okay, so now I want to hone in on one or two activities that I could do, that I could really master, that are gonna support all of these goals. And so what I would propose to you is, what if decluttering was that goal and we got laser focused on it over the next few weeks? Because if we declutter, we might find that we're more patient with our kids. We might find that they're able to keep their room clean, our common spaces are staying more clean, and our house is more peaceful, so everybody's not on edge when they're here. Ooh, financial responsibility that's a big one for a lot of us, right? We want to be responsible with our finances. We might have goals of getting out of debt. Simplifying our house, focusing on decluttering, for most of us goes hand in hand with us making smarter buying decisions and having more energy to put towards getting out of debt. And so it was like the pieces of our life started to fall in place because our systems weren't so overburdened and overstressed. So what if we said, hey, maybe for the next few months, I need to laser focus on decluttering. I need to set aside time. I might need to get a babysitter. I might need to have a friend come over and help. Because if I'm identifying this as a very important activity, if I'm really putting proper weight on it, as I think we should, then I want to go all in. And what does that look like? And what stood in my way in the past that I need to find solutions to? And so if you're like, yeah, that sounds good. I mean, I would like to do it, but it just doesn't feel quite right. Or to be able to tell your friends and family, like, I'm laser focusing on decluttering for the next, couple months. It makes sense because one thing that they say about Pareto's principle, about the 80-20 rule, is that it doesn't come naturally to people because we expect balance and fairness. And so really, like, when we look at our life and we're like, I want to be a better mom, I want to be a better wife, I want to keep my house clean, I want to cook more. We look at it as a pie and we're like, well, I just need to give a little more time here and a little more time there and a little more time there. And we don't trace it back and say, well, are there any singular activities that I could do that would make all of these easier? We don't think that way, right? We think balance. Take the pie, divide it up equally amongst all these things that I need to do. But most of us know that's not working, right? We have all tried that. We have tried it. And then if I get a different planner, and then if I watch the right YouTube video on time management or whatever it is, right? Or if I just would get to bed earlier at night, if I had a better morning routine, all of that, right? We think if I just change this or that, then everything will get divided up right and I'll be able to do all these things. But I really think that if we would bring it all back in, if we would first look at getting our house decluttered, which then leads to us being able to organize it, I think you're going to find that all of these things come so much more easily and they don't feel like a burden. And if we're going to dedicate the time to this, let's also use this 80-20 rule to change how we're looking at the stuff. So again, if I'm going into it thinking, wow, I only use 6% of the stuff in my house, that means I could declutter like 90% of it and not even miss it. That we need to change how we look at our stuff when we go to declutter it. When we look at a whole room of stuff, we can't say like, well, most of that stuff belongs in here, so I just got to find a way to organize it. We look at it and we say, wow, I need to get rid of like 90% of this stuff. Okay, like that changes how I look at it, right? Because again, this stuff isn't supporting my goals. Decluttering is supporting my goals. Having less to manage is supporting my goals. I'm freeing up time so that I can dedicate more energy to these other things, right? And so when we go to look at it, we have to be so much tougher on it, right? I mean, this thing that I hold up, I can't even find something to hold up right now. This thing that I hold up, I'm saying like, is this gonna make the cut? Is this supporting my goals? Is this making my life better? Is this gonna make it so my house is easier to manage and so much easier to keep clean? If I keep this, is this going to support my goals? Like, we have to be that tough on the stuff. And if it's like, well, I don't know, I got it on clearance, I kind of like it, maybe someday I could use it. No, right? That is not supporting my goals. That is not gonna make my life better. And so it's like, no, I'm sorry, 90% of this stuff has to go. It's just not making my life any better. And so we really have to change how we're looking at this stuff, and it really has to make a good case in order for it to stay. And so I know the hard thing is getting started. For so many of us, I know if we feel at all overwhelmed by our stuff, it is very difficult to get started. And so you need a plan. You need someone to encourage you, to give you tips and advice. So I hope you play our videos in the background. And I hope anytime that you're watching us, I was gonna start the video with this, I hope you're working on something. One drawer, one cabinet, it really is the day in, day out, just one foot in front of the other that gets it done. But I wholeheartedly believe if we will laser focus on this, it will change your life, and you will look back and you will be so incredibly glad that you did it. So keep going. Recruit help if you need it. I'm gonna link to some playlists down below. I've been trying to organize our videos into playlists, so if you're in the kitchen, you can play the kitchen playlist. If you're in other spaces, or if you're going through sentimental stuff, don't start there. You can play those videos too. But I truly hope that it's helpful. And if there's anything else that has really clicked with you, like a phrase or an idea, will you share that down below? Because usually that's really helpful to other people as well. So I hope you have a good day. I know you can do it. I totally know you can do it. And I'll see you again soon.